As shown in the figure on the right, you can make squares by arranging matchsticks from left to right. Now, answer the following questions. How many matchsticks do you need to make n squares? Write an expression in terms of n. And how many squares can you make with 58 matchsticks? Before answering these questions, let's look at this word regularities. What does this mean? The word regularities is related to the word regularity. Regularity is the singular form, tansu, and regularities is the plural form, fukusu. Okay, but what is a regularity? You can check an English dictionary, or if you have an internet connection, you can simply use Google. Type in definition of regularity and press enter. Here we see that it is a noun and the meaning is the state or quality of being regular. Now let's look at this word regular. What does regular mean? Again, if we use Google, we can see that the word regular is an adjective, which means arranged in a constant or definite pattern. So, a regularity is something that is arranged in a constant or definite pattern. Let's go back to our matchstick problem. Here are 10 matchsticks. They are not arranged in a constant or definite pattern, so we can say that their arrangement is irregular. Irregular means not regular. Let's suppose we make squares by arranging the matchsticks from left to right. In this case, 10 matchsticks can be used to make 3 squares. This is a regular arrangement. And because it is a regular arrangement with a constant and definite pattern, we can call it a regularity. Now, do you remember our earlier question? It was, how many squares can you make with 58 matchsticks? How can we find the answer? Well, here are 58 matchsticks. One way to find the answer would be to arrange the matchsticks into a long line of squares and then count the total number of squares. That will work, but it will take a long time. There's an easier way. First, we will need to write an expression that tells the number of squares that can be made from some number of matchsticks. We will use n to represent the number of squares. Let's look at a simple example. Here are 10 matchsticks. If we start with one matchstick, adding 3 matchsticks makes 1 square. Adding 3 more matchsticks makes another square, and adding 3 more makes a third square. In this case, 3 squares are formed from the first matchstick plus 3 sets of 3 matchsticks. Now, let's look at the general case for n squares. In general, n squares can be formed from the first matchstick plus n sets of 3 matchsticks. Simplifying the expression, we get 1 plus 3 times n. Then, switching the order of the terms, we get 3n plus 1. So, 3n plus 1 is the number of matchsticks needed to make n squares. Now let's return to our previous question which was, how many squares can you make with 58 matchsticks? Since 3n plus 1 is the number of matchsticks needed to make n squares, the number of squares that can be made from 58 matchsticks is 3n plus 1 equals 58. Solving for n, we get n equals 19. Therefore, the number of squares that can be made from 58 matchsticks is 19 squares.